Hello, and welcome to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the injury market's top program for doctors, lawyers, and insurers who want to gain greater insight on how to improve patient recovery results and deliver better services in the U.S. injury market. Please welcome your host, Dr. Jeffrey Allen Kronk.
Okay, today what I want to talk about is what is the biggest threat to chiropractic itself. I've been a licensed doctor of chiropractic for 31 years. I get asked this question. I can see it, so I'm going to talk about it today. What is the biggest threat to the chiropractic profession? Is super simple. The biggest threat to my profession is my profession itself, is the chiropractic profession itself. Right now, the chiropractic profession does not follow its own philosophy. It does not follow its own premise. The premise of chiropractic is alignment improves function. Now, it doesn't matter what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with chronic pain, if you're dealing with visceral conditions, if you're dealing with injury work, alignment improves function. If you're dealing mechanically with structures, alignment improves function. If you're talking about relationships, alignment improves function. If you're talking about marriages, alignment improves function. If you're talking about businesses and business operations, alignment improves function. There isn't anywhere where this, and I think pretty much I was the first one to define chiropractic philosophy in 3 words, which was alignment improves function. So that's the simple part. That's all the philosophy classes that I sat through in chiropractic. And when it all boils down to it, is alignment improves function. Now, if you look at the chiropractic profession itself, it's the most misaligned profession of any of the professions in the healthcare space. That's why it's not effective. When I say it's not effective, I don't mean that there's not individual results that are off the charts or off the chain. That I get. But you have to remember, and maybe you don't even know this, chiropractic is 1/3 of 1% of the total healthcare market. So all of chiropractic, all the amazing things, oh my God, it's such an amazing thing. And I believe it is. I've been with it for 32 years. I try to improve it as much as I possibly can through the injury space. But if you look at it and go, oh my God, it's got so much to offer, and it's 1/3 of 1% of the total healthcare market. Think how minusculely small the chiropractic profession is in the healthcare market. It's 1/3 of 1%. Now, somebody will say, well, Dr. Kronk, how the hell did you get that number? Look up any industry analysis and say, what is the total market share? In other words, how much income does the total chiropractic profession generate? You're going to see anywhere from $15 to $19 billion a year. That's the total of the market. And it'll also tell you that if you do market research, that's why a lot of large companies and large groups don't come into it, because it's such a small market. It's a very small market. Now, if you look at the overall healthcare dollars spent today, it's well over $4 trillion. So if you want to know what the percentage of chiropractic is to the total healthcare market, you just divide $15 billion by $4 trillion, and you're going to come up with a number. And then that number is going to come up with 1/3 of 1%. So we are infinitesimally small. Now, we're small because we don't practice the thing that our whole group, our whole health premise was founded on, which is alignment improves function. We are dysfunctional in the market because we're not aligned. We're dysfunctional in the market because we're continuously at dis-ease. Now, if you want to see how diseased the chiropractic profession is, go in any online Facebook user group with chiropractors in it. Okay, the majority of them you're going to see are self-attacking. They're attacking this. They're attacking one group. They're attacking another group. Matter of fact, in our profession, we should have when you look at people, generally don't attack each other. It's a certain type of person that does that. And I don't know, it's maybe somewhere along the majority of people, the highest majority, 70-80% of people are just good. They don't want to offend people, and they want to present positivity. They want to actually align with things that we are alike on, not point out all of our differences and make those differences broader and broader. That's what's going on in the United States of America today. We have this polarization, right? We have one side saying, oh, this is, you're bad, and the other side saying you're bad. And all it's doing is dividing and destroying the country. All that division is done in the chiropractic profession is divided and destroyed the profession. The profession is quite impotent in the market. There's no insurance parity today. There should be. Why should there be limits on chiropractic care? There's not limits on medical care in general. Why shouldn't chiropractic and chiropractors be primary injury care providers in all work comp spaces where a person has a work comp injury? Why aren't we the leaders in that? Why aren't we the leaders in income and income levels? Why don't chiropractors make on average $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year? Why aren't those averages up? Why isn't the average practice $1 million plus practice? Just open it up and there's so much demand, you're going to have a million plus practice as a low end. Medium size, you might have a $5 million practice. Higher end, sky's the limit. Why is that? Because we're not aligned. We can't be healthy unless we're aligned. We can't be healthy as a group unless we're aligned. And you can't attack each other and be aligned. Alignment means agreement. Alignment and agreement are sort of the same. So we have to come up, if we want to improve, or you want to align somebody, usually what aligns people is catastrophe. Then everybody aligns. Look at 9/11, everybody aligned, right? Or everybody was more aligned. The world wars, people align, right? If today, chiropractic, which pretty much is being threatened, I mean, at 0.3% of the market, it's not hard to just get it off the market. Just totally turn it into a cash thing that people go to. There's no insurance coverage of any kind. Get it out of personal injury work. Get it out of work itself, because it's not aligned enough to hold the market space. So you have to think of yourself as an individual in a group, but you also have to think about yourself in a group. And the only power that you really have is in a group. So yes, we are individuals, but we're individuals that have to be aligned in a group. What would be wrong with having the chiropractic profession the most powerfully aligned and most effective organization in the healthcare industry today? What would be the matter with that? Would anybody have a problem with that? I don't think so. No, there's going to be some. There's going to be the ones that actually say, oh my God, that's not possible. Yeah, let them have that. There's the negative naysayers. You can tell a negative naysayer, you get in these groups, and the first thing they do is they'll do things like they'll cut down, like they'll post a video of somebody and they'll cut down how the person looks. And I always want to go, well, why don't you post how you look? If you're going to criticize somebody's looks, why don't you post your looks? If you're going to criticize what somebody's doing, as soon as somebody starts criticizing what other people are doing, oh my God, they're ripping people off. The first thing that I think of is, okay, well, who are you ripping off? We have to align. We have to align as a group. Now, the wonderful thing about alignment is you have to have points where you can align. One of the things on procedures that I love about the injury space is we can align on procedures. There's 3 main injuries that any spine can have, so working them up is very simple, and you can align on those procedures. So in alignment, if every doctor in the country worked up a spinal injury the same, trust me, we would have an incredible amount of market share. We would have an incredible, significantly more market share. I am one that says I think the chiropractic profession should go from 1/3% of a point in market share to a minimum of 10% market share. Now, that's a huge jump. I mean, remember, 2/3% is double. 1% is tripling. So just going to 1% of the healthcare market, we've tripled the market, 300% or more increase in chiropractic. I think that's too small of a goal. But what I do know is that I think the goal is achieved through alignment, and it's achieved through agreement. And doctors need to stop. I mean, I get on these personal injury sites sometimes, and people chew each other up because they're taking x-rays or they're taking repeat x-rays, or this technique is wrong or that technique is wrong. And, these guidelines are bad, and that guideline is bad. And they argue and argue and argue, and all they do is misalign and misalign and misalign. They're at dis-ease. You can tell by the tone of the conversation. It's not a at ease conversation. It's a dis-ease conversation. Now, if you want to stay permanently dis-eased, continue to engage with these people. Continue to engage with them. Because you will walk away not only dis-eased from that conversation, but it may last for hours to days, right? Well, that's not a healthy relationship. And so you have to make a decision, and not all, when I say align, just the majority has to align. There's going to be the outliers that never align. So what? It's just the majority that have to align, and the majority is the majority. It just doesn't exert itself as a majority, so it gets run by these little minions that are negative, that are just, one of the things I liked about Elon Musk is he said something. I'm a huge fan of equality. I'm a huge fan of equality. All right, I'm not a huge fan of some of the woke things that are out there right now, because I tend to align with Elon Musk that says wokeness gives mean people a chance to be meaner. Right? Because when I look at the arguments and when I look at the conversations, it's very antagonistic. It's very divisive. And division is just a misalignment. Right? As chiropractors, we have to be people that align. We have to align things. We have to align patients' spines. We have to align our practices to be highly successful. We have to align our individual profession to be highly successful. And then what we have to do is we have to align the other healthcare spaces. Once chiropractic has aligned itself and becomes the most effective organization in the country in healthcare, then it has to help align the other healthcare organizations. We stay small because we're not aligned. And again, the area, we need to, as individuals, stand up for one another. If somebody's being bullied or somebody's antagonizing somebody on the internet, on a Facebook group, or calling them names, or trying to in some way minimize them, okay, it's easy on a Facebook group. It's easy texting today because nobody's face to face. Face to face, you might not even say some of the things that get said in these groups. You just wouldn't. But it's very easy because nobody's there. We need to tone that down and find points by which we can agree. Taking chiropractic profession from a third of 1% to 10%, I think everybody would agree on that. Having 100% insurance parity, I think people would agree with that. Having no limits on care and unlimited insurance inclusion, I think everybody could agree with that. I think having chiropractors be the number one providers in the injury space, I think everybody could agree with that. So my little portion of it is I do it through standardizing injury workups and making more effective providers in the injury space. I do that because the foundation of chiropractic itself is based on injury. And so when I help providers help more people, I absolutely love it. But I just think this is kind of a podcast where I'm riffing on the fact that, when you're in these groups, when you're in with individual providers, look at the differences and be tolerant of differences. We have a lot of different techniques. We have a lot of different types and means and ideas. Be tolerant of those ideas. Be tolerant so we can become aligned. Because that is the greatest threat to our profession, is not being aligned. Doctors, on these podcasts, what I do is just take a short topic, riff on it a little bit, and I hope you got something from this. So I'm going to end at this point. I appreciate your attention always on these podcasts. If you have any questions about the Smart Injury Doctors program that we run, you can go to www.smartinjurydoctors.com, hit the Learn More. In that Learn More, you can see testimonials about our program, an overview of our program. You can schedule with one of our new doctor consultants, Chrissy Johannesson, right there, right on the links. And you can find out, you can join free Facebook user group that we have that promotes, the type of injury work that we do and tips on how to make your injury practices a lot better. And of course, you can always listen to these podcasts. So if you have any questions or you have anything that you want me to talk about in a podcast, call us at 800-940-6513 and we'll definitely talk about it. Doctors, I thank you for your time and attention, and I thank you for what you do.
You've been listening to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the #1 audio production show for professionals in the U.S. injury market that want to deliver better injury services to the patients, clients, or insureds they serve. If you like what you heard today, please leave us a review and don't forget to join us on our next program.